Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is about reinstalling the carpets and the seats and all the trim and things once you've got the sound treatment in place. So very quickly, we've basically completely covered the interior of the cabin with sound deadener butyl layer, and then across the top of that we've laid some mass loaded vinyl on the floor area, the heavy duty, and on the side walls and things a lighter version. Completely enclosed the transmission tunnel, and the floor pans have left this edge here untreated, where the wiring runs down the side simply for space. So it's now time to finally get everything back in. We're going to start with the front carpets and work our way back. So just going to show you what they look like. So before we get onto that though, the first thing you need to do is just give it a good vacuum, get rid of all the dirt and dust as you've been climbing in and out of the vehicle. So I've already done that, and now I'm ready to sort of put the carpet pieces back in the front. So let's just have a quick look at those. Now these are the front carpets. These are right hand drive. This is the driver's side, and the passenger side. Basically there's a hole here just for the accelerator pedal parts. Now what I've done is split mine in two so it makes it easier to install. So I've just cut it down here, and you can see what I've done is used cable ties to sort of stitch it roughly back together. So I'm going to go and pop those back in the car. Pretty simple. They basically just slide straight in like this. Right, just push straight in like that, and try to fit all the wiring and stuff out of the way. So I'll go do that and come back in a minute. Okay, we've got the passenger side carpet back in. Couple of tricks: very tight squeeze so you can see where the seat bolt holes sort of line up with the carpet. You know it's in position when you're at that point, but basically I have to sit on the floor and push with my legs to get the carpet to stretch in far enough that you can get the those seat bolt holes into position. Also make sure you don't catch any wires that you need. It should be 3 wires for the bits that are underneath the glove box there. So just make sure you don't catch that behind the carpet. So now moving on to the driver's side, it's a little bit more tricky. You've got to take out the accelerator pedal for this task. There's the plug that goes into the back of the accelerator pedal. That needs to be fed through this hole in the carpet, just here. And once again, there's a couple of wires and things that you want to make sure you don't get caught behind the carpet. So just tuck them up out of the way. Same principle. So I need to just force it into place. It'll be a snug fit. Alright, so I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, we've got the front carpets in. Trickiest part of the front was once again just getting it to sit flush up against the firewall, and also getting the accelerator pedal to bolt down properly. Required a little bit of trimming and a longer torque bolt to get that in nice and secure. So routed the wiring where it needs to go around into the console here and here. Re-punched these holes to make sure that the bolt holes for the front console are not obstructed at all, and use some heavy duty cable ties just to stitch these two parts of the carpet back together and pull them nice and tight. So that's all in there. I'm pretty happy with that. So now going to move on to the rear carpets. They basically clip onto these studs here. I'm not sure whether we're going to have enough clearance to be able to do that, so I might have to trim that part off, but we'll see. So this is what the rear carpets look like. I've split mine down the middle just to make it easier to handle, so I'll stitch those back together using cable ties. This part all sort of sits underneath the air box and all that the airbag box and all that stuff on the top of the front console. There's also some holes here for the seat belt brace. My suggestion is that you put it through the carpet but install it in the rear seat well as you're putting the carpet in. So the way that this works, it's got a hook on the end and then a flat part for the bolt. It basically just goes into the hole here, and you got it kind of like twist it into position, so sort of like this. That's it, like that. So it sits flat and can be bolted down. Now the problem is that once the carpet's in, it's really hard to maneuver it into the hole, so better to do that while you're installing the carpet now. So once again, they sort of just sit in the footwell, and you're just going to wriggle them into position. So I'll get onto that now and be right back. Alright, fitting the driver's side rear carpet now. So got it roughly in place. It looks like it's going to be fine across the front here. I'm going to have to pull up the handbrake and things to be able to fit the carpet underneath that. That's no problems. So the only issue really here is at the back, where the back cushions clip into the door, into these clips to secure them. This is not going to allow enough clearance, so I'm going to have to trim the carpet along this edge, which is no big deal, and then loosen up the door card here to fit this piece of carpet underneath the trim here. So yep, thought I'd share that with you before I start trimming it up. Okay, just to quickly show you what that looks like now that that's trimmed up. So that's plenty of clearance now for the cushions. Just a small bit taken off there. Just use a pair of scissors. Yep. So I'll continue on. Come back a little later. Okay, so we've now got the rear carpets in place, all tied down underneath the pits in the front transmission tunnel, and it's all fitting pretty well. So now I'm just going to give it a quick vacuum, and we'll fit in the front console. Okay, about to reinstall the front console. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you've got all your wiring routed to where you need to go. So all tucked up and cable tied through the tray here, and then you have your cables for your vents and lights and things at the back, for the USB in your console, etc, etc. So have them all properly routed and ready to clip in and install. Make sure you don't forget to plug back in this little line that goes to your handbrake. It's just a spring clip. You just press it down and thread that through, and that all of this is all tightened up. So looking at the console itself, pretty simple. Essentially you've got the holes here where the console bolts into the transmission tunnel. At the front of the console you've got these ducts that plug into that black Y-shaped duct over there that carries air basically down under the console, through the duct, and then out the back here to supply the rear vents. So that's pretty much all that's underneath the console itself. It's just the ductwork and a bit of wiring in here for the aux, a cigarette lighter, or a 12-volt power supply, that type of thing. And then the only other piece you need to be concerned about at all is just these areas here where the what do you call it, the trim clips into. So that's about it. It's pretty simple to install, pretty much the same way as we took it out. These bits go in first, over the gear knob and the handbrake. So I'm just going to try to get in here a bit. So it basically goes in that way, like that, over this gear knob. You lift it up. Hard to do with one hand, so I have to put down the camera and come back and show you when it's in. Alright guys, so I've got the front console roughly into position, and just making sure that the wires and things are being routed where we need them to go. Another hint is this Y-shaped air distribution vent. It's a good idea to clip it into the console before you slide the console back, because it's really hard to get these two connection points in. So plug it in and then it just slips back and sort of pushes it into the mouth of the vent in under the dash. You'll feel it with your fingers. And then you want to get these holes here lined up with the bolt holes by just sort of sliding the whole unit forward. But just make sure you've got all the wiring routed where you want it to go. There's nothing worse than getting the console in and then finding out that you've got some wire stuck under something, or whatever. So it definitely, well, they're my audio leads. Let's see, here we go. I'm looking for the lead that goes to the iDrive, so it's tucked in under there somewhere. So I'm going to have to find that and pull it out, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, well that's the front console in place. It is very tight, really snug. Not surprising, because there's so much material under here. You can actually see it just puffing out the carpet a bit there. But everything's snapped into place and fits, so very happy with that. Now to get the rear console into place. It's pretty simple. It basically fits onto those two pins just down here through these two holes, and then this end, these clips clip into the side here. So all you can do is make sure that you plug in the lights and the vent, and then bolt it all down. So pretty quick, and have a crack at that and be right back. Okay, just fitting the rear console. So the way that this works, there's two pins or tabs that slide into here, and you've got to make sure that the outside of the console is running across this seam, and you slide that into place. So it's from the back, just push it forward until it slides into place. And then there's two T20 screws in there. When they line up with the holes, you can tighten them down, and then you can tighten those two 10mm down there, two bolts, nuts that go on top of those bolts that come through the floor to hold the console down in place. Now, but before you tighten it down, you need to feed your light wire up through the back here. Just clip it in and then push the puddle light into place like that. You also need to take your vent wire, clip that into the top, and then once that's done, you just slide it in underneath there like this, out of the way, and then just push this down. Okay guys, we've just putting in the trim now, starting off with the driver's side. So got this this section, or this kick panel, in place. Basically there's a Phillips head screw which holds onto the handle, and another Phillips head screw underneath the handle which bolts or screws the panel into place, and there's a clip that goes in there. Just got to make sure you plug in the boot release plug as well. Then this under panel has three Torx screws. I think they're T20s. It's a little snug to fit in there, but push it back as far as you can till the holes line up, and then just screw it into place. Make sure you plug the footwell light and the speaker in as well for the gong. So they're the two panels for the driver's side. I've got the rear seat put back in now, so just the driver's seat to go in, and that will be the driver's side done completely. Now I'm going to move on to the other side of the car, the passenger side of the car, and over here we've got the glove box to go back in, and the kick panel, the underside kick panel. So basically they're you have some little clips like this that screw into the bottom of the glove box around this silver bar here. It's pretty simple, and then this simply slides into place. You plug in the light. What else is there? Another clip that goes in here, and this this box just fits into here. So just the three that plug into that, and then that sort of goes in under that. But you've got to get the glove box in first. So I'll do that and show you the end result. Okay, so we've finished putting in the glove box and the kick panel on the passenger side. The glove box working fine, and the kick panel here. That's my USB for the stereo, for the computer. So that's in really tight, and it's in fact deflecting a bit here. That's how tight it is, but it's in and looking good. So last thing to do is put in the front seats, and we're pretty much done. So I'll get onto that and give it a full wrap up in a minute. Okay, that's the front seats back in the car, and that's the end of the reinstallation of all the parts. So the car's now back together. It's a bit of a milestone, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. You wouldn't really know that there's 100 odd kilos of sound treatment in amongst all of that, but no, really very happy. So I'm going to do one final video, just be doing a quick summary of the project, how much material was used, take it for a test drive, let you do a comparison of what it sounded like before and after. But thanks for watching, and I'll sign off on this part of the video now.